Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's Jamar from Vegas Scents, and in this video I'm going to be doing a sort of first impressions and comparison between Rasasi's new release, and that's going to be Rasasi Hawas Ice, and we're going to be comparing this to Rasasi's Hawas, the original. All right, so definitely stick around, see what I have to say about these two fragrances. And to anyone brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, anyone watching, leave a like and a comment. And just to get straight into the video, man, Rasasi Hawas Ice. This was a fragrance that just kind of popped up out of nowhere on the internet. I want to say like a couple of weeks ago. And so I did go ahead and, pick this up from fragbar.com. I was able to pick this up for $60 plus the shipping. So like altogether it came out to be like around $72. So, definitely a little bit higher than I would probably like to pay for, Rasasi Hawas fragrance. But I mean, to be fair, when I bought the original Hawas back in like 2017, which is what this bottle was from, I want to say I paid like around $60 to $65 or so for Rasasi Hawas. So I can't really say that I'm paying that much more for this fragrance than what I did the original. All right, now as you can see, man, the box presentation and even the bottle, it looks very similar to the way that the original Hawas does. So you have the name of the fragrance here on the front of the box, and then you've got this symbol here, which you see it on, the Rasasi Hawas bottles. I don't know if that says like Rasasi or Hawas in Arabic. I'm not sure. But yeah, you've got like this kind of snakeskin texture around the Hawas here on the front, and then it says Hawas Ice. You've got the like ingredients and stuff like that on the back of the box here. And then you've got like the manufacture date and stuff like that, and the barcode on the bottom. All right, nothing on the sides or anything like that. And this particular batch of, Rasasi Hawas Ice, this was manufactured in August of this year. All right, so just to pull this bottle out, as you can see, man, it basically, it's the exact same bottle for the most part, except it kind of has like a sort of blue gradient to the bottle in terms of the color, whereas I believe with the original Hawas, the actual bottle itself is just clear glass, and then the juice inside of there is like a purplish color. Because of the blue gradient on the Hawas Ice, I can't really tell what the color of the actual juice is inside of there. I have a feeling it's probably about the same color as, the original Hawas. And then, really the only difference on the front is just the fact that this one says ice below the Hawas for him. That's the only real difference. Both of them have stickers down here at the bottom. This one obviously is pretty faded. Like I said, this bottle is from like 2017. But same cap, except this cap kind of has like a sort of like a matte sort of feel to it. It does seem like it probably is, metal, just like how this one is, I would have to assume, because they're both pretty heavy caps. So, I mean, for the most part, just, in terms of presentation, these two are, pretty identical almost. All right. Now, the one thing that I can say is with the Hawas Ice, the sprayer on this seems to be, a lot better than the sprayer on my bottle of Hawas. You can see there, I mean, it shoots out pretty good, and it shoots out a decent amount of juice. Whereas the Hawas, it also, shoots out pretty good as well, but I feel like the Hawas Ice sprayer is a little bit better. All right. Now, in terms of what I'm getting from, the Hawas Ice, for the most part, I mean, I would say that this is a pretty disappointing release. And I would say that this is absolutely not going to be a fragrance that you should go out and, sort of panic buy or buy on like the heels of the hype for this fragrance. This is not a fragrance that's worth the $100+ or so that it's going for on sites like Joma Shop. It's not even worth, I would say, $70 to $80 necessarily. I think what you should do is, especially if you don't already own Hawas and you've never smelled Hawas, what I would recommend that you do is, I would say this is still going to be a fragrance that you would possibly want to pick up, especially if you do like mass appealing, sort of slightly bubblegum sweet, aquatic types of scents. And that's for the most part what you get with this. So I would say if you've never smelled Hawas, and that's been a fragrance that's been on your radar, I would say maybe wait for this to go down in price, which I think once these reviews and stuff like that start to hit the internet, I think that, the demand for this fragrance is probably going to go down by a lot. And you're also probably going to start seeing a lot of people who blind bought this fragrance before any sort of reviews came out. You're going to see a lot of those people, selling these secondhand, like in Facebook groups and stuff like that. So I would recommend waiting on that, because I think that for the most part, this is going to be a fragrance that, in my opinion, is not worth more than like $45 to $55 or so. And that's brand new, unused out the box. That's about what I would pay for, Hawas. Now, like I said, back in 2017, I paid about $60 for this. So I would say $60 or so for this would be about the maximum that I would recommend that anybody pay for it. But again, I would say that I would only recommend that someone actually purchase this if they either don't own Hawas or if they've never smelled Hawas. Now, this I can say is, at least in my opinion anyway, so far, smelling the two side by side, I can say that this is like a slight sort of improvement on Hawas. So everything isn't necessarily all bad when it comes to this fragrance. It's just that, obviously we were expecting after 8 years now, we were expecting something that would be completely different from, the original Hawas. And at least to my nose, I mean, the differences that I get when I first spray this on in the opening is the Hawas Ice, to me, it seems slightly brighter and a little bit more kind of citrusy. I haven't been able to find any sort of note breakdown or anything like that, but the citruses, at least that I pick up, or what it smells like to me in the opening, is it smells like it definitely has like a pretty good dose of like bergamot and mandarin orange. Again, I can't confirm whether or not those are the actual top notes in this fragrance or not, but that's what it smells like to me. And so it gives it a slightly more brighter citrusy sort of vibe than what the original Hawas does. To me, the original Hawas is still like a bright sort of opening. It has a bright opening in the fragrance, but I would say that the Hawas is, to me, slightly more denser and a little bit more spicier than what the Hawas Ice is in the opening. Now, once the two start to get into like the mid and the dry down, that's when these two start to become, even closer to each other than I feel like what they should. This is still going to be a slightly brighter, I would say, in the mid and dry down. And it has kind of like a slight sort of herbalness to it. So I'm not sure if this fragrance has, maybe some herbs like sage or rosemary or something like that in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if that were in, the mid, or even, possibly like the top notes or something like that. But that's at least what it smells like to me. And, it kind of gives it, like I said, this sort of slightly more citrusy, slightly brighter, slightly more sort of herbal, take on the scent profile. But again, at the same time, you know, these two, at least in the mid and the dry down, at least to me, I would say are about like 85. This is at least within about 85%, you know, close to Rasasi Hawas. So, you know, I mean, one thing that I can say is this seems to give me, you know, slightly better projection than the Rasasi Hawas does. Now, keep in mind, I mean, again, I've had this bottle Hawas for about 7 years now. So, you know, or not 7 years, about 6 years now. So, you know, I mean, possibly this could be starting to fade a little bit. You know, this definitely, it doesn't seem to be as strong as what it used to be like when I first got it. So, you know, that could definitely be due to just, you know, the fragrance starting to kind of deteriorate over time. But, you know, at least from what I can tell, this does seem to be, you know, performing better than my bottle of Hawas. And it does seem to be a little bit more brighter and citrusy. All right. So, again, for anybody who already has a bottle of Hawas, I would say absolutely steer clear of this fragrance. Now, you know, if you possibly finish your bottle of Hawas and, you know, this is out there, you know, and it's at a reasonable price, like maybe $50 to $55 or so, then I would say, you know, possibly it would probably make sense to go ahead and, you know, maybe get this as sort of like a slight sort of update to the fragrance. That's pretty much, that's the best way that I can kind of describe this. So for like anybody that plays video games, right, you know that, for instance, if we're talking about something like Call of Duty, right, Call of Duty has like their sort of seasonal sort of, you know, updates where they're like this huge file that you have to download, and, you know, you get new maps and you get new weapons and skins and stuff like that. And then in between those seasons, you kind of have patches where, you know, they're fixing weapon balance and stuff like that, or different bugs that come up. This is going to be a patch, pretty much. That's the way that I look at this fragrance. Is it's, you know, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just kind of like a slight sort of tweak or update to the scent profile for the most part. All right. So absolutely, I would say do not pay $100 for a slight sort of tweak or update to the scent profile. Absolutely wait for this to come back down in price. All right. In terms of performance, I mean, I can't really give you a longevity figure as of right now because I just got this fragrance in. So I just wanted to get this video out to you all to, you know, let you all know what I think about this fragrance. But so far, I mean, this does seem to be, you know, a pretty solid performer, I would say. It does seem to have the same sort of strength that Hawas did, you know, when I first purchased it. All right. So again, if you already have Hawas, stay away from this one. If you've never smelled or don't own Hawas, then I would say wait for this to come down in price. All right. So let me know what you all think, man. Have you all smelled Hawas Ice? If so, are you familiar with the way that Hawas smells? And do you agree that this is pretty much the same thing as Hawas, just slightly sort of tweaked? Let me know in the comments below. And once again, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And also to anyone watching, leave a like and a comment. And once again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.